Today we're going to talk about Warhammer 40k Darktide.
Alright, so Warhammer 40k Darktide was released by Fat Shark on November 30th, 2023.
2022.
2022. And it is an always...
It probably should have been released in November 30th,
2023.
Yeah,
it might not. It might have not suffered so many issues at launch. But it is an always online co-op first-person shooter.
Think of Left 4 Dead.
Yes, yeah. Think of Left 4 Dead,
but not as good.
It's available on Steam, Xbox Live, and Xbox PC Game Pass.
Yes.
Game Pass for $39.99 if you're not getting it on Game Pass. So let's start out a little different and just say what we thought about the game, because we have not spoken about it to each other even.
No.
So what was your overall
It's terrible.
thoughts on the game?
It was so boring. It was one of the most boring games I've ever played. There's literally 5 stages, and all of the enemies are exactly the same. There is zero difference between enemies. None. And you can say, oh, well, this enemy looks bigger, and this one's got a backpack on. Well, whoop-de-doo. It's all bad.
So I actually liked it.
Oh, awful.
Now, it does have a lot of drawbacks, but as far as the gameplay goes, I actually really enjoyed it.
So boring.
All right, so what we'll do, now that we've got that out of the way, you can see, you now know our opinions, and we'll talk about why and what we did like and what we didn't like about it. So as far as the graphics go, what did you think?
They were pretty good. I mean, they were Warhammer 40k-ish.
Mm-hmm.
That was about it. I mean, like I said, everything looks the same.
It definitely does. I would say that it suffers from that quite a bit, even in the gameplay loop.
Yes.
Not only in the hub, not only in the color scheme, but everything as far as playing the game. I didn't really care which level I was on because it was all dark and dreary.
Yes. And mobs of enemies charging at you.
Yes.
That's it. That's the game.
Yeah. Yeah, in essence. Now, I will say, the more I got into it, because I actually level capped, I looked at how to play endgame, I went in and did I can't remember what it's called, but you can go in and actually, it'll set up all the enemies in the game for you, and you can attack them and see what different weapons and what different strikes and what different things do to different enemies. And that's where the differences come in, is what damage you do and how you do it to different enemy types. And different enemy types and different armor on the enemies make the game different. And there's so let's go into we looked at the so we'll stay on graphics. Actually, I thought if you actually stop and look around, which part of the problem is you can't do that during the game. You're just running through a level,
Yeah,
right?
you just
but if you
constantly
actually
running.
stop and look around, the game looks amazing. And one of the things I think they should have done is tone that down and made more levels.
More than the 5 that they have?
Instead, indifferent. Because I didn't play Vermintide 2, but I watched somebody who was comparing Vermintide 2 to Darktide, and they actually had like outside levels and things like that, where they actually looked and felt different, whereas Darktide looks and feels the same. If they would have taken some of that development time where they made everything look beautiful, but you never actually stop and look at it, and just made different environments, I think that would have helped a lot as far as the overall feel of the game and making things seem different.
Yeah, because when I was playing it, I didn't know what the level was until you get to the end of it. Like, all the inside of it looks the same. So once they get to the end, oh, this is the train one. I know this one. This is one where you gotta wait for the train. Okay, let's go to the other one. Oh, this one was where you gotta go up the spiral and carry the things around, and it's all similar until you kind of get toward the end when the ship comes to pick you up.
Yeah.
That's when I knew what the level was.
Yeah, and I never did learn it by name. I got to endgame, and the only one that I knew by name when you take off... So when you start a level, I guess we can go into this. The way that you start the game in the hub, You go and you either look at the store, which we'll talk about in a bit, which really sucks. Bad, bad, bad. But you walk up to the mission hub, and you either quick play or you pick a mission to start or something like that. Then you wait for people to join the party, or you join someone else's party in the quick play experience. You can jump in at somebody else's team that started that doesn't have a full team of 4. In the background, it'll tell you the name of the mission you're doing. The only one I knew was the kill one, where you actually have to, when you get to the end, you actually kill somebody, the assassination, because on the screen it said like find and kill or something like that. So that one I knew, but the rest of them, they were all convoluted HL-1645 something or other, and I'm like,
I would say,
what the hell is that?
9 times out of the 10 for me, the levels were all the train. All going to the train. Every time.
Yeah,
I'm like, how many times do we need to play this level? I get it. I need to go to a train. That's it. You go to the train, and then wait for the thing to come pick you up. Yeah,
and so that is, again, another criticism of the game, is that it is a very static gameplay loop. Okay, so sound in the game. Sound, it was, I thought it was okay. The biggest thing about the sound is, and I don't know why they did this, but the combat, especially as you get up in the higher levels, is very reliant on sound. All the different special enemies make a different sound when they spawn in. And so the recommendation of everybody, and I did this too, is I turned my sound down to 25%. Because people were like, I can't even hear when they spawn in. And so it definitely helps if you're going to play the game to do that. That's just a little quick hint. Because it makes it a lot easier to hear which type of special creature is loading into the game. Other than that, yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of voice acting.
It's got cutscenes.
It's got some cutscenes. A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. But really, they were looking... again, like we said at the beginning, it seems like a Left 4 Dead that you can actually advance in somewhat. So they were trying to keep it to where you would keep playing the levels over and over again. And that's really the gameplay loop, is play a level, see if you can get any upgrades, or buy any upgrades.
Buy any upgrades.
Play another level, and then go back and see if you can buy something else.
Okay, well, let's talk about the upgrades.
Sure.
How do you get upgrades?
So there's a store, and it refreshes every hour.
Literally every hour. So if you go to the store, and there's nothing in there that you want, you now have to wait 1 hour for it to refresh.
Yes. And in my experience, that's super frustrating.
Yeah.
Especially once you get higher and higher and you figure out what build, because there are builds in the game. They're very, I mean, you only get like
talents.
Yeah, you get a choice every 5 levels, I think, of a talent, and you get to pick from 3.
Yeah, one of 3.
Yep. And so you can make a build, and some builds are actually really good. I was playing a pretty decent one. But you get you go to the store, and if you're looking for something in particular, there were so many times that I went 5 levels, 6 levels without ever seeing the weapon type that I wanted.
Yep.
So I would never find what I was looking for. It's awful.
Yeah, so I was playing the psychic guy, I don't know, the magic user.
Psychic, yeah.
Yeah, and once you hit level 5, you unlock your weapon, which is like a staff. I went to the store, and it had just refreshed, so I had, it was like a 40-minute wait time for me to get my staff. So now I can't even really play the class that I'm supposed to play until this stupid store refreshes.
Yeah.
And then I gotta hope and pray that when it refreshes with the staff.
And you know what? It wouldn't be so bad if there were random drops in the game.
Yes.
But there are 0 drops in game. This is not like a Diablo where you're playing through and you kill something and it drops something.
Right.
There is no drops. Everything is bought from the store, except while you're leveling, you unlock a certain weapons at a certain level, and you will possibly, and I don't even know how it works, but randomly, you'll get a weapon for that type. But I think after level 10, I stopped getting those. So there were no more random drops at all.
From the end of the mission.
Yes, at the end of the mission.
At the end of the mission. So when
not
you're in the
from
mission,
killing something.
It gives you your stats, or not your stat, it gives you the money, it gives you the currency, the other type of currency, and then you may randomly get a weapon. I think I got 2, and I ran 15, 20 missions, and I got 2 weapons, one right after the first one, just like a new melee weapon, and then like on level 4, I got a new gun, but everything else I had to buy from the shop after it refreshed.
Yep, so I will say that each character type, there are 4. You've got your Ogryn, you've got your Psyker, you've got your Soldier, which I can't remember, Veteran Sharpshooter, and then you have your
Like the priest?
Zealot,
Yeah.
Zealot Priest. All feel very different, and they all play very different. So
Yes.
I could see, if the game were better and I was going to keep playing it after Endgame, I could see myself leveling each character just for the different play styles. So that's one thing that does have going for it. But
I would agree. That's probably the only thing it has going for it, is the 4 classes are completely unique.
yes, they are.
They're all different from each
other. Way different.
And they look different, especially the Ogryn.
Yes. Yeah, the Ogryn's a huge ogre guy, and he's again, and it's almost like it was trying to be an MMO too, because the Ogryn actually ends up being a tank with a huge shield. And I know we never got to this, and we'll talk about why I never got to it, is the levels. So you start out at 1, and basically it's a hack and slash. You're not really going to die. You're just slashing everything going through the level. Level 2 gets a little bit harder, but it's still mainly a hack and slash. The 3rd level, which is called Malice, I can't remember. I don't know what 4 and 5 are, and I don't know what 1 and 2 are. But 3 is called Malice, and it's quite a bit harder. As a melee character, I played the Priest Zealot to 30. If I stood in front of a sharpshooter or anybody with a gun, and they get way more prevalent in level 3, I was going to die. There was a huge jump from level 2 to level 3, and then I heard, because I never got to play it, from level 3 to level 4 and level 5. Like, level 5, you have to play it almost like an MMO, where you need the tank, you need the veteran sharpshooter, because then they can take out the ranged for you, because you can't even move around a corner, or you get your head taken off in like one shot. So we never really got to that, because in the reason is, on Xbox Game Pass, the game is dead. I've heard on Steam it's a whole lot better, but there's no crossplay, because on Xbox they have different They have different releases. They're releasing faster on Steam because they don't have to wait for Microsoft to approve, and so they haven't put crossplay in because the games aren't on the same patches. I want to say there's no crossplay with the Xbox either. So if you are on Game Pass, you are playing only with people on Game Pass.
Wow,
and
that's
so
really dumb.
I would not be up. 90% of my game time was on the 2nd difficulty out of 5, because it was the only place that I could get matches. I think I probably played 6 to 8 level 3, but no one would ever be playing that. And so there was no one to play with, and you cannot play it alone, because you can jump into a game, you can make a game with 3 other bots, but the bots suck, so you can't actually...
How?
If you wait and quick play long enough, it'll start a game for you.
Okay. I gotcha. Because you can't actually start a game with bots.
Yeah.
So you can't actively select a game and then pick 3 AI companions. It won't let you do that. Now, they said that they are working on it, and it was supposed to be in release, and that never happened. So if you want to play this game solo, you have to play quick play.
Yeah.
You cannot play offline with bots. You can't even play online with bots.
Yeah. Yeah, if you start a quick play and it doesn't, if you don't join somebody else, it'll start that quick play mission, and then you'll start with 3 bots. So the performance of the game I thought was good. I had no problems with it. I had no crashing, no anything. And that, I've heard, because I didn't start at launch, is way different than at launch. At launch, people were crashing all the time. So if there's one positive, they are actually doing updates and fixing things that were wrong. I know since I've started, when I started, they had 2 pieces of the crafting system in place, whereas at launch there was only 1 piece, I think out of 4 or 5 different things that they're going to implement. I don't know why games keep coming out that aren't
Done.
finished.
Or even close to being done.
Yes. I mean, if you're going to launch a game for $40 that crashes all the time, has 1 out of 4 crafting systems in place, has 5 total levels that all look the same, I just don't get it. I don't understand it. What happened to finishing a game, or at least getting the things in at launch that you wanted in at launch?
Or that you said you were going to have at launch.
Yes. It's weird. It's weird to me.
So, one of the things that bothered me was when I first jumped in the game, I go to the character creator, I go to the place where you type in your name, I click on the box, I type more evil, nothing happens. I'm like, okay. So I tab. Nothing happens. okay, something's wrong. So I close the game, I open the game, I get to the point where you've got to type in your character name, nothing happens. I figured out that the only way to type in a character name is you have to hit the random name generator. It will then populate a name, and then your cursor shows up where you type the name in.
I didn't have to do it.
That is the only way I could get a name to pop in. It took me 15 minutes to figure that out.
I just typed in my name and
Didn't do it for me.
That's weird.
I'm on Windows 11.
Yeah, I'm on 10. So
it may be a
a
Windows 11 thing, but I couldn't for the life of me get anything to work on that. The character create. I got to the character, went to type my name, nothing. So if you get stuck on that, just hit the little random name and it will generate a name. Because I got to a point, I'm like, well, maybe you're not allowed to type your own name because they don't want people to type Big Booty Hose as their screen name. So I clicked it, and then as soon as I did that, it popped in a name, and then the little cursor started blinking where you could type. And that's the only way that I could type in my name. And it does it every time.
Weird. Yeah, I didn't have that problem at all. Interesting.
Yes. So as far as recommendations go, I would say no. Absolutely not. I wouldn't pay $40 for this game. I didn't even want to play it for free on Game Pass. It took time to download. I had to actually install it and play it, and I don't know. It wasn't my type of game. If you like Left 4 Dead, I like Left 4 Dead, but I didn't like this game. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of this game at all. It has too many bugs, too many broken promises. I don't know. It's just not the game for me, and I don't think it's the game for anybody. Honestly, I don't know who they're targeting this game for. I mean, if they're targeting for FPS fans, they need more than 5 maps. If they're targeting it for Warhammer 40k fans, it needs more story. So I wouldn't waste the time playing it, honestly. That's my opinion.
I liked the gameplay. I did. Once you get past the whole, okay, all I'm going to do is swing my sword or hammer or whatnot. Once I dug in a little bit, I enjoyed it. So I would say it has a decent shell other than the store. And I enjoyed playing through it. Now, again, if you have Xbox Game Pass, I probably wouldn't because there's nobody playing on Xbox Game Pass. It's so hard to get games other than level 1 and 2, which actually popped in random in just a few seconds.
Quick,
10 seconds, 15 seconds, I could get into a level 1 or level 2. Now, I did try to play the other morning on off hours. I got no matches. None. I could not get into a match with another person. So, as much as I did enjoy once I got into the gameplay, I'm going to go with no as well. Even though the game is only $40, and even though it's free on Game Pass, unless you love the Warhammer 40k, and again, I would even wait. Even if you love it, I would give this game a year. To upgrade, and maybe it would be worth playing. I may if I see that it's got some good upgrades,
some big updates.
Yeah, big updates, big things going on that I can get excited about. I would say no, but I may come back. I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'll watch it and see if they're actually improving it.
Well, and I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they'll No Man's Sky the game. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, No Man's Sky was garbage when it came out, and now the game is phenomenal. So maybe they'll turn it around. Maybe they'll add more classes, more areas. I mean, there's a lot that they could do with this game to improve it. So, all we can do is wait and see. Are they going to abandon the game, or are they going to keep going? Mm-hmm. That's the big question.
Now, I have seen data mined subclasses.
Yeah.
For the classes, so that could be a thing in the future. How long it's going to take, maybe is whether the game survives or not. Mm-hmm. How fast they can get these updates out to actually improve the overall quality of life of the game. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would say no for now, but keep an eye on it. Or again, you could try it out on Game Pass if you have Game Pass. Mm-hmm. Jump in, maybe play a round, 2. Get a feel for it.
Or 0. Save yourself the time.
Yeah. Unless you like Darktide, or unless you like 40k.
Yeah.
Then you might want to give it a go. But yeah, I'm pretty middle. I'm middle on it.
I'm no. So, but on that note, we'll see you next time.
All right. Take it easy.